Hello, it's Richard at Richard's Guitars. Just thought I'd show you this before I say any more. I'm going to show you something. Some of you will have seen this. I'll see if I can go out. This is Gordon Smith guitar. Look at that. Completely hand painted. Well, many years ago now. Yeah, look at that. Isn't that cool? So it's a Gordon Smith guitar, hand painted by someone. I'll give you links to him. Ooh, cool, eh? So there we go. That's my Star Wars guitar. Um, so that's my Star Wars guitar, and in a way that leads me conveniently to something I want to talk about today, which a few weird things have been said about. I was talking to my friend, I'd like to say, Doug from Gordon Smith Guitars, that I talk a fair amount about because of the nature of I love Gordon Smith guitars, so always talking about stuff to do with him. And it came to my attention that a couple of slightly offhand things had been said about how he makes his guitars so cheap. And it had been inferred by somebody that possibly that the guitars, for example, aren't made in the UK. The bodies are made elsewhere. And clearly this is absolutely total, you know, anybody who's ever visited the workshop, anyone can, would naturally see these guitars absolutely being made 100% by them. And not only that, but credit to Doug that one of the reasons why they don't do certain body styles is because of the time that goes into contouring certain body designs, which they because they do it all by hand. They have routing machine, or what you call it, like machines that just cut out basic templates, but then the actual curvature and the sculpting is all done by hand. So clearly, if a guitar requires a lot of contouring, that's a lot of time taken up. I hope you can see me okay. And that led me on to my thought for today's, what today's my thoughts have been. And you handmade British guitars, or handmade in England. That whole tag of when you purchase a guitar and spend, a major premium, thousands of pounds you'd expect to pay for a hand built British guitar. And it's not surprising that certain guitar builders are a bit staggered by what Doug's doing. The waves are being, there's a few waves being, is that the right phrase, are being made because what they're producing is so ridiculously or ludicrously high quality for £1,000. You can pretty much buy most guitars they do under 1,500 quid, and most guitars under 1,000. So it is incredible what they're doing because they are totally handmade, and the finishing is exquisite. There's no kind of ifs. There's no kind of like yeah, but it it is British built, so therefore we've cut corners here. That kind of could have obviously been said in the old days with Gordon Smith, but that just simply is not the case. I'll put my entire reputation on saying that the quality of their guitars is absolutely ridiculous for the money you pay. So this made me think about areas of the industry that aren't quite so clear cut. And so I'm going to put a link below to a chap who's in England, and his business is cutting out. He routes out bodies and necks. CNC tools the necks and bodies. So for CNC tooling is great if you want to build volume and you want that kind of accuracy time and time again in as quick a period of time possible. So this isn't a disparaging comment about CNC tooling, but it is about your guitar. If you've bought a guitar or about to buy a guitar that has got the tag on it that it's handmade in England or handmade in the UK, or you're dealing with a guitar builder in England, and expecting that guitar to be made by hand by that builder, you need to make some investigations and absolutely check, or just make sure your expectations are in line with the reality of what's happening. So somebody might be building a guitar for you and think it's quite normal to put together a neck and a body that they've not made, but they have sourced from an alternative source. Now, if you know that and you know that's what they're doing, then that's absolutely fine, isn't it? Because it's an agreement you've got in place. But if you're spending £2, £3, £4,000 on a guitar, you deserve to know how handmade that guitar is and how much of that guitar has been made in England. I'll put it into context. So I could buy, you hear about brands like Warmouth that do the necks and bodies and stuff. So, you could source a couple of £100, the highest quality body and the highest quality neck, and spend a few £100 on that being made for you by a fantastic source. And then you could get a guitar builder to basically finish that and put whatever parts you want on it. And so the actual what would you expect that to actually cost you? You wouldn't expect it to cost you £3,000, would you? You wouldn't spend £3,000 having that done. You'd think it's quite within reasonable limits to say, well, that should be, oh God, well, whatever. I'm not even going to mention a figure on it. Whatever you think it should cost to finish a guitar and put some hardware on it and set it up properly. But there is a, as I say, that I'll put the link in, but this chap's business in the link that I'll give you is all about supplying British guitar builders their bodies and necks for their guitars. It's one of his primary roles of his business. And I'm very, very aware that there are guitars being branded in the UK as handmade in England that are no more than kit products put together, and should that be right? I don't know. That's just my view. That's my observation for the day, is saying, okay, if you're buying a guitar, maybe ask to see the guitar being made, or maybe to see some progress photos. If you believe the guitar is being completely made to measure, just ask to see the guitar body, being cut out even. And if you've got no issues with the guitar being imported and the necks being imported, well, no problem, is it? It's all about clarity and knowing what you're buying into. So there you go. That's it. That's my thought for the day. Okay, cheers. Bye.